bullish fair value gap here, rallies, and then we have the first introduction to my first mention of it in public. I've never taught it before. I've never given it to anybody. This is my ICT suspension block. Okay, and you'll see it with this wick laying over top of it. So you would never look at that as a fair value gap, not by the definitions of it initially given. This is a bullish fair value gap, but this is not a bullish fair value gap in its classic sense. And if you look real close, there is a volume imbalance at the top and a volume imbalance at the bottom, even though this wick goes higher. Whenever you have one single candle that has a volume imbalance to the low and a volume imbalance to the high, that is going to act just like a fair value gap. And it does not matter if there's wicks that had already crossed over that to the left of it. You simply don't even worry about it. It's being suspended between two volume imbalances. That's why I named it suspension block. This is extremely strong. It's one of the most powerful, and there's more that I'm not going to share, okay? But just know that this is what I'm talking about. I have more stuff. I got more stuff. All these guys here copying, rebranding my stuff. You're never going to see this stuff in anybody else's work prior to me. But it'll be interesting to hear what they call it. But the suspension block is extremely bullish or bearish if it's reversed and it's a down close candle. And you have narrative and order flow moving is lower, reaching for liquidity. Here, we can see that it's going to be reaching up into 24,819 and a quarter. Now, you can look at that on the 1 minute chart, scrub to the left. You'll see it's part of a volume imbalance. It's just the higher level of it. That's what that. The whole point was that level. To me, was a volume imbalance. And because of sake of time and brevity, I didn't include it here. But you can go back and just scrub to the left on your 1 minute chart, and you'll see that, keep going back, you'll find that there's a 24,819.25 volume imbalance, and the lower level is just below by not by much. It's very small. But we trade down into this. I'm sorry, trade up into this suspension block too. Now I only changed the colors here just to show that they're both suspension blocks, but this one's the larger one, and we're going to push this one forward in time. So the creation of this is, again, a volume imbalance at the top, a volume imbalance at the bottom. And it does not matter if there's a wick to the left. So if it looks like it's been redelivered or it's back and forth in the same area, it's still inefficient. And it's being highlighted algorithmically because there's a volume imbalance to the lower and the higher end of it. Okay, it's very, very easy to spot. If you start scouring through your charts, you're going to see these things. They never have been noticed by you before. And I promise you, there has never been anybody else they're all going to pretend. You're going to see these 20-year-olds are going to come out. Yeah, bro, I was doing this. I just never want to teach it in my Discord. I never want to teach it in my Telegram channel. You know, I was doing. All my students have been seeing me do it. You know, I've been calling signals and shots with this man for this. Ask for broker statements proving they did the executions, because I can. I can do that. They are not going to be able to do that. Okay, so the bottom line is, here we go. We have the bullish suspension block, and it trades down to it here, and then consequent encroachment over here. And then one more time, it dives down into it here, consequent encroachment, upper quadrant of it, just almost to consequent encroachment, but notice the body respecting it here. It trades to the 24,819 and a quarter. This is the run you watch me do. The trade was recorded, and I shared it on X. I'm not going to put it on YouTube because the full presentation at regular speed was promoted on my Twitter or X account. So you can see all that there, and where I placed the stop and how I managed the trade and whatnot. So the market breaks down, comes back up one more time into another suspension block. See this? Lower volume imbalance, upper volume imbalance. But because we had a reversal, when we come back down in, it's going to act as what? Just like an inversion fair value gap. It changes its characteristic. So it trades up into consequent encroachment, breaks lower, fair value gap, digs past the first suspension block, and down into the second one. See that? And rallies up, supports at the low of this suspension block there. So there's discount sensitivity, rallies up, discount sensitivity at the high of it, rallies, volume imbalance, trades one more time up into the suspension block here. And because it's changed its character to that of being a premium array, the bodies are respecting it here. Look at the bodies. I mean, look at that. That's technical science. and realize, oh, look at the body stopping right there. That's technical science. There's no algorithm. It's buying and selling pressure. I mean, I wish I had more time. I have so much fun with this. But it breaks lower, comes back up, consequent encroachment, trades down to the volume imbalance, and then sends it higher back